What's ambiguous about ambiguous war? There have been several forms of warfare in the past. These include state versus state, bloc versus bloc as during the Cold War, and asymmetric warfare where non-state actors use unconventional means against states. However, a new emerging form of conflict has been termed state versus state 2.0, or ambiguous warfare. The term ambiguous means something that is open to one or more interpretations, does not have an obvious meaning, or which is not clear or decided. The ambiguity in the term ambiguous warfare can be found in the fact that there have been, and are, many forms of warfare that can be construed as ambiguous, as opposed to conventional. Ambiguous warfare has been used successfully in the past. Examples include the Viet Cong during the Vietnam War, and the prolonged insurgency in Iraq. This concept of ambiguous warfare, or the ambiguous approach, can have several advantages. These can include the ability to attack or disrupt a country's decision-making processes in such a clandestine manner as to inhibit or prevent its ability to make a response to the incursion. In such instances, it is often difficult to ascertain whether an attack has truly taken place, or whether there has been some other unknown anomaly or internal problem at work. The evidence for this can be found in the current chaos surrounding the investigation into Russian meddling in the American presidential elections. This is one factor having a divisive effect on U.S. politics, as Russian complicity is contested along party lines. Another advantage is that it allows the attacker to have a credible defense if challenged on an ambiguous form of attack. This can be achieved by using proxies to attack another country. This provides plausible deniability, termed maskirovka by the Russians, and makes it difficult to prove where the attack originated. Finally, the ambiguous approach allows countries such as Russia to achieve certain aims, such as causing disruptions in NATO and the EU, without the risks that go with outright aggression. This also leads to the problem of formulating an appropriate response or reaction to any such attack. The Russian version of ambiguous warfare can be found within the Gerasimov doctrine, which states, "In the 21st century we have seen a tendency toward blurring the lines between the states of war and peace. Wars are no longer declared and, having begun, proceed according to an unfamiliar template. The role of non-military means of achieving political and strategic goals have grown. And in many cases, they have exceeded the power of force of weapons in their effectiveness." One example of Russia's maskirovka has been cyberattacks on Western states. Using proxy cyber attackers allows Moscow to claim plausible deniability. There is also mounting evidence that Russia was involved in influencing the Brexit vote. It was allegedly involved in the collapse of a voter registration website in the run-up to the referendum. A report by the Commons Public Administration and Constitutional Affairs Committee noted that Russia may have used an approach to cyber attacks, based on an understanding of mass psychology, and of how to exploit individuals. This was especially relevant, as the government's registration website collapsed on the 7th of June 2016, 10 minutes before the deadline. This effectively disenfranchised tens of thousands, and possibly as many as 500,000 voters. Ambiguous war is therefore evolving to mean contactless aggression, which is carried out at arm's length. It is increasingly fought with resources other than military might, and is intended to remain sufficiently vague and uncertain to prevent direct Western military intervention. This effectively negates Western military superiority, while undermining Western values, norms, and institutions. It also creates uncertainty as to whether the West is already at war with countries such as Russia and China, as ambiguous attacks are still attacks. Considering the way ambiguous war is being consistently used to undermine the West, we may already be in World War III, without realizing it.